All right, so in this trade recap, I'm gonna make it short and sweet. Today was a very good day. It's February 20th. We took three trades today. We had two winning trades and one losing trade. And the losing trade was kind of, I could have avoided it because I kind of flipped my bias. So I went long and I went short and I went long again. Um, I noticed, okay, so we can start here. So we had this gap, right? I was talking about this in yesterday's video where we had this gap on 4.3450, right? So we managed to fill it and sell off for the entire day. So in the morning we filled it and then we sold off. So what my bias was in the beginning I wanted to fill this gap. I didn't take any trades because there wasn't too much RR for me, but I waited for this gap to get filled and then I waited for some confirmation of market structure shift. Um, and then also, I was kind of looking for us to fill this 4 hour fair value gap, which we did, right? But I started kind of looking at the market when we were in this 4 hour fair value gap. Um, I saw that price came all the way to the bottom of this fair value gap, and then we respected like literally the bottom. Like we just faked out the exact bottom, right? So we just had a tiny little tick right below it, and then we came back into the range. And as soon as I saw that we came back into the range, I noticed that we were going to respect the range, which we are doing right now. We're kind of breaking out of it and respecting it at the moment. So we're gonna have to see for tomorrow if this is just a liquidity sweep and then we head lower, or if it actually respects the fair value gap and then tries to head higher throughout the day, right? But yeah, so right now I saw that we were respecting this fair value gap, and then I saw a market structure shift over here, a 5 minute market structure shift right after we respected this 5 minute fair value gap, or sorry, the 4 hour fair value gap. I saw this 5 minute um, break of structure. So we closed above this. So we made a 5 minute break of structure. We came back down, respected this 5 minute fair value gap over here, right? And then we headed higher. And then this was the basis of my trade. So we respected the 4 hour fair value gap. We made break of structure on the 5 minute, and then we retested and respected the 5 minute fair value gap to head higher. Then there was a couple. Let me see. What else was there? I can't remember exactly. Was this a 1 hour fair value gap? I thought it was a 50 minute. Hmm. Okay. Um, I can't remember exactly why I targeted what I targeted. Okay, it was a 50 minute fair value gap over here. Uh, I targeted the bottom of this 50 minute fair value gap because I knew it would act as like a magnet for price to come into, right? Um, I could have targeted this liquidity up here, and that would have been a perfectly normal trade because um, once we start disrespecting fair value gaps and everything, that means we're trying to head higher for some more liquidity, right? But yeah, my first TP was over here on this 50 minute fair value gap because it'll act as a magnet. So it's going to be a very high probability that the trade is going to go there. That was my first trade that I took, was this one right here. And it was like a quick, like 1 RR, 1.25 RR that we hit. And then for some reason, uh, I found another fair value gap. I can't remember exactly what time frame. I think it's the 5 minute time frame. I'm not too sure where I got this fair value gap, but I saw that we were trying to. I thought that we were gonna respect the 15 minute based off of this candle over here. So I flipped my bias to kind of try to take out these liquidities over here and then possibly head higher after, which went against my way. You don't want to flip your bias too much, but this one went against my way. And then I waited, and then I realized that we were respecting this 50 minute fair value gap. So a bunch of my trades today were based off of this 50 minute fair value gap and us being in this major 4 hour fair value gap and respecting it, right? So over here, we were inside this 15 minute fair value gap. And then as soon as we broke out of it and actually tried to close, this is when I took my trade. And then I targeted this liquidity. And that was my second trade, and boom, we hit it, right? So that was the trade recap for my day today. And this just goes to show that go to go to the higher time frames, go to the daily, go to the 4 hour, and see what is happening. So the first part of my trade was, okay, so we filled the gap, now we're heading lower. The second part of my trade was, okay, we headed lower, but we're respecting this 4 hour fair value gap. The third part of my trade was, okay, we have the 15-minute fair value gap ahead of us, and we have liquidity. This is all low resistance liquidity that we're trying to head higher, right? That was the third part of my trade. And the fourth part was the break of structure. So we broke 5-minute structure, and then this is kind of validating to us that we want to head higher and take out some liquidity up above, right? So there was like 5 different confluences that I used for this trade, and it's the reason why I profited today. So make sure to always look at the higher time frames, the daily, the 4 hours, the 1 hour. Draw out everything that you need to, like for fair value gaps, liquidities, right? And then go head into the lower time frames to really see the details of what is happening right now, right? And that is where you base off of your trades. That'll be everything for today. And yeah, take care, boys.